Welcome to this video on our channel, Before You Rich. Okay, picture this. It's 11:47 p.m. You're lying in bed, you've got your phone brightness turned all the way down so you don't wake anyone up, right? And you're not just scrolling for fun. You're reading about everyday people who somehow quit their jobs and actually built something real instead of sleeping.
And then, right around the 40th post you see, this one thought just slides right into your head and absolutely refuses to leave. What if you're doing everything right and it still just doesn't work? Your thumb is probably hovering over the screen right now, ready to close the app and try to get some sleep. But hey, don't. Not yet. Stay right here. Because in this video, you are going to learn the two specific questions that quietly decide who ends up owning a self-sustaining business that pays them while they sleep and who just stays completely exhausted. These two questions actually come from a guy widely known as the godfather of modern marketing, someone who's coached everyone from Fortune 500 companies to 9-year-old Girl Scouts. Honestly, almost nobody asks these correctly. And if you click away before you hear them, you're probably going to keep making the exact mistake that keeps most side hustles exactly that. Just a side hustle forever.
So here is the big mystery we are solving today. How is it that two people can start out with the exact same idea and put in the exact same grueling 12-hour days, yet 5 years later, one of them is totally free, while the other is still answering emails at midnight, completely broke and calling it their passion? Same idea, same hours, completely different life. What actually separates them has absolutely nothing to do with luck or timing or some raw talent, and trust me, once you see this, you literally won't be able to unsee it in your own life.
Let's dive right into part one, the two questions. All right, I want you to picture two hairdressers working just 2 blocks apart from each other, so we can see what actually separates them. The first one, she takes literally anyone who walks through the door. Any type of hair, any budget, any time slot she can possibly squeeze in. Sure, she's busy, but she's also completely exhausted. And the really sad part, the only thing she has left to compete on is just being the cheapest chair in the neighborhood. Now look at the second hairdresser. She only cuts curly hair. That's it. Straight hair, bald guys, bargain hunters, she sends them somewhere else. No apology, no hard feelings whatsoever. Because of this, she only takes 10 clients a day, turns away bad fits, and runs a massive wait list. Same skill level, same street, completely different life. And you know what? The massive gap between those two comes down to being able to answer exactly who your business is actually for. That's the first question. And no, the answer isn't anyone who needs a haircut. It has to be a highly specific person with a highly specific problem that you are uniquely built to solve.
Okay, moving right along to the second question. What real, tangible difference does it make for them? And again, you can't just say to make money. You have to figure out what actually changes in that specific person's life simply because you showed up and solved their problem. Now, this next part might sting just a little bit, but it is absolutely crucial. If you can't answer both of those questions in one clear sentence, it's usually not because your idea is bad. It's actually because you don't have an idea yet. What you merely have is a hope. And let's be real, hope was never a viable business model. Which brings us to a quick pattern interrupt. The fear of getting specific. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Man, if I get that specific, I'm going to lose customers. Look, it is completely normal to fear losing people, but that logic is exactly backwards. If you aim your message at everyone, it's basically guaranteed not to land with anyone. Think about that secret recipe sitting in your kitchen right now. Here's the harsh reality nobody warned you about. The second you turn that personal passion into a business, it stops belonging to you. It belongs entirely to the people buying it. And they're not buying it just because they're your friend, right? They're buying it because out of every single option in front of them, it's their absolute best bet.
Let's move on to part two, the trap after you start.
Getting the who and the what right really only solves half the mystery, though. Next, we absolutely have to look at the trap that catches people after they've already started. See, there's a huge critical difference between a freelancer and an entrepreneur. Basically, a freelancer is someone who gets paid for the hours they personally put in. An entrepreneur, on the other hand, builds something that keeps making money long after they've clocked out, literally while they are fast asleep. Confusing these two will completely wreck you. Here's exactly how it happens. Things get a little busy, a new task pops up, and you frantically look around for the cheapest, most available help. And guess who you find? Yep, it's you. Because you work for free. So you just consistently hire yourself for every little job until you're working nonstop.
So every single time you catch yourself doing a menial task you really should have handed off, you need to stop and ask yourself one question. Ask yourself what scarier work underneath it you're actually avoiding. Because, let's face it, it's almost never about the task itself. You're avoiding the hard stuff, like landing that next big client, or doing the deep work that would actually let this business run without you.
This brings up a phrase that literally stopped me in my tracks the first time I heard it. You're not stuck in traffic, you are traffic. If you trace all that midnight exhaustion back far enough, you're going to find out who the real boss is. Spoiler alert, it's you choosing this system. It's that inner voice that replays all your mistakes at 2 a.m. Think about it. If you had an actual boss who talked to you the way you talk to yourself, you'd quit today. So why on earth are you still clocking in for them?
Which naturally leads us to part 3, the fear nobody names.
Even when you know exactly who and what your business is for, there is still this hidden fear that completely paralyzes most people before they ever hit publish. Try this mental exercise with me. Imagine walking up to a total stranger on the street, holding out a crisp $10 bill and asking them to trade you a $5 bill for it. Even though you are literally offering them free money, your chest tightens just thinking about it, doesn't it? But that feeling isn't about the money at all. It's simply the raw fear of a stranger looking you in the eye and saying no.
Let me give you a great example of getting past this. Picture a 9-year-old girl standing outside a grocery store, pitching everyone who walks by to buy her cookies. Most people just put their heads down and keep walking, right? But now picture that same kid simply shifting her opening line and asking, "Hey, which cookie is your favorite?" Suddenly, nobody can walk by without answering. And the second they answer, boom, they're in a conversation instead of dodging a pitch. Her sales absolutely skyrocketed. Same cookies, same 9-year-old, just a totally different opening line that removed the pressure.
So, the real takeaway here is that you don't magically get rid of that fear before you launch your business. That's a total myth. You just feel the fear and you execute anyway. You drive the car and you let the fear sit right there in the passenger seat.
Okay, let's wrap this all together in part 4, the dip.
So, that big mystery we talked about at the start, it's finally answered. The person who actually built something real didn't magically have more talent than everyone else. She simply had a filter running through every single decision. She knew that almost everything worth building gets significantly harder right before it gets easier. And because she had a hyper-specific reason for doing it, she was actually able to survive that brutal stretch. See, without knowing exactly who and what your business is for, a really hard month just feels like absolute proof that you should quit. But when you have those answers locked in, you realize it's not a dead end at all. It's just a rough patch. It's the dip right before the massive climb. And that dip, that is exactly where everyone else gives up, which is why the success on the other side is still sitting there, waiting for you.
And that brings us to our outro, the shift.
As we wrap up this video, I want you to remember those 2 filtering questions, watch out for that freelancer trap, and accept the reality that fear is always going to be in the room with you. You've probably spent months lying awake wondering if the problem was just you. Well, I'm here to tell you, it was never you. You just have to stop sitting around hoping to get picked and finally decide exactly who you are here for.
Knowing who it is for is step 1 for sure. But how do you actually test if that business idea survives contact with the real world in a single afternoon without spending a single dollar? Well, in our next video on Before You Rich, we are going to give you the exact exercise to do just that. So if hope isn't a business model and fear is always going to be in the passenger seat, are you finally ready to step out of the midnight hustle trap?